Wow, there it is, live. So let's see. Hopefully you can see me. It seems like it's a little dark. Let me see if I can make this a little bit better. That might be a little bit better. So I have no idea if anybody's here yet. I see it says it's live, so I'm going to go with that. So I told my wife about that, so I want to give you a shout out, Andrea. Love you. Hope you're tuning in just for a quick view. Also, Ronnie Kirkpatrick, we talked or texted earlier today, so that was cool. Hey, what's going on, Foxfire? North Texas. That's nice. I probably wish I was in North Texas right about now. It's probably nice and cool there. It's hot here in Ohio, although today's pretty overcast. But I'm not really sure how to use this format. I can tell you that. I've normally was using StreamYard, which is a third-party type streaming software. Andy from Motorsports Unity Motorsports Garage. Sorry about that, Andy. Hooked me up with them. So I use their format. It's pretty easy to use. This is the first time I've used the YouTube format. Don't really see a lot that I can do. Yeah, we'll talk about Rusty in a minute, that whole episode. I'm just kind of seeing what we have down here. I'm not sure what this does. Edit. Let's see. Well, we don't want to do that. So that's something different. Hey, what's up, Daniel Wilson? Hot in Georgia too, my friend. Nice. Let's see what I can do if I push this here. Pin message. What does that do? I don't know. Not sure how to do this very well, since it's a format you really can't practice with. At least I haven't seen anything that you can practice with and say, hey, what's going on, Mike Curtis from Alabama? So there are people paying attention. I appreciate that. But my family got in with this, helped me do this, and I think they really want to get more active in it, but it's hard. My daughters kind of wanted to dress up for it, and they're thinking like they're doing a video for like when we're building something, or more of a play type thing. So it's kind of hard for them to sit still and listen to me babble for 50 minutes. But Bob Hope, good to see you too. Tim Miller, hi Tim. Been a fan watching you on YouTube. Thank you, Tim Miller. Coates, appreciate it, from Kentucky. That's cool. I watched the beginning to an echo. Yeah. So I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but the bottom line is, I used a different third-party streaming software, and the issue was on Rusty's part. He's got a different type of setup. Actually, he's using an Apple, so I have a PC. So I don't know if there's a software glitch between the two, but either way, I sent him a new webcam. He should have that Friday. We're going to test it. I can test it now. I figured out how to test it before I go live. So we can do that to make sure the echo is kind of under control. Because I couldn't even listen to it. I was embarrassed. I feel bad. He does too. But we couldn't really tell. Everyone says that, but it's hard to hear what's going on when you're doing the live chat. So that's the whole deal of it. So I appreciate everybody trying to help out and giving suggestions and, trying to work out whatever the issue is. What's up, Roberts G-Body Racing? It's good to see you, man. So I wish I could figure out how to reply to you. Let's see. I don't want to be pushing too many buttons, and then next thing I know, we're gone. I don't want to do that. But, I'll give you an update. Here's what I was going to do. Actually, it's easier to make videos doing this and talk to people and kind of interact with you more than it is sit there and present something with you and spit and polish it and make sure it looks good and that kind of thing. But here's what's going on with the 409, if people are wondering. Because I made a video. I started to make a video, then I got in with another project and kind of put it on the back burner. So here's the bottom line. I got it all done, and I was going to take it to the dyno after I had ran it at Mike Weeks's place. So I got it back. It sat on the stand for a while. I said, I better tear into this, make sure everything's good before I take it to the dyno. Look at the oil, check the plugs, look inside the cylinders, that kind of stuff with my cam. So I pulled out the plate, and when I pulled out the plate, all the intake runners look perfect. And I have pictures of it, so I might make some kind of quick video. But all of them but number 3 intake, and I had a little discoloration. It looked like some reversion or something. It just didn't look right when I compared it to all the rest. So I started investigating it further and got in there with my cam. I'll tell you, this is one of the best tools you can buy right here. It's a cheap one from Menards, but it's invaluable. You can record the data in a little disc and save it. You got to learn. Yeah. Tell me about it. So it's definitely a learning process, just like racing, actually, someone mentioned. But I don't want to digress. Let me go back to the topic. So anyway, so I started looking at it, and what I saw was something that looked funny inside where the valve is. I said, is that the seat? Something not right about that. So I ended up doing a leak down test, and I had like 15% leakage. I'm like, this is crazy. So I looked down on the port, and I had the valve closed. I sprayed a little WD-40 in there, and I was getting bubbles, and I got a video of it. I'm like, there's no way that thing should be leaking. At this point, you know, I checked everything over, made sure the valve was closed, did all that kind of stuff. And it comes to the point where I don't take any chances. I've come too far. So you know what I did? Yeah, I pulled the head back off. I looked at it. It looked okay to me, but, you know, I don't do cylinder heads for a living. So I packed it up. I talked to Darren Morgan at BS, and that's when I had talked to Tony too, because they're going to help me with the DragBoss. So I packed it up and sent it down there. It got there last week, so I'm waiting to hear what's going on with it. You know, I want it pressure tested and made sure it's good, because I don't want to put that thing on there and then be down one cylinder. 15%, and you're going to lose 50 horsepower right there. Let's see who's here. Tim Miller. Tim Miller. Which lube-on filters and all? Which lube-on filters and always primed oil drill at 75 psi? Not sure what you're trying to say, but it sounds good. 75 psi is good with me. You know, usually with that 409, when I use the drill on it, I have it recorded. I think I want to say I had 78 or 9. I think with Tim Meyer's oil filter adapter and that other line, the external oil line, I think I picked up like 6 pounds of oil pressure, something in that range. I have it written down. So, oh yeah, so there you go, Daniel Wilson. I read your comment. I don't know how to highlight it to put it up here, so. And I don't want to mess around, like I said before. Next thing you know, we're not live anymore, and it's just a big black screen. So this is a learning process for me too. But Daniel, I want to see those pictures of that Mustang. We got to get you motivated. That needs to be getting done soon. So Bob Hope, here to learn. You're here to learn? That's awesome. I'm not sure what you want to learn about. 351 Cleveland's racing, cylinder heads, medicine. I don't know. I actually thought about doing another channel, just doing it on medicine. You know, a lot of people don't even understand the basics of hypertension or diabetes, but, you know, I don't want to go off on topic. I want to kind of stick where we're at. But it's funny. I thought I would have a problem talking and not being able to carry on a conversation with you guys through this live chat. But it's I think it's a lot more efficient. And then you can go back and listen to the replay, I guess. And you can comment on that too. I think I get notifications for that. So let's see, where are we now? Oh, Ronnie Kirkpatrick gave me Joe Paps's contact information. I think I mentioned that last night. So I have to get a hold of him. I'll text him after we're doing this. I kind of got to put a time limit, because next thing I know, it's like we're being in the garage. We could sit here and talk racing in cars for hours. Tim Miller, you use lifters, lube coat with what brand? I always use, you know, an engine assembly lube is what I used. I don't even know what kind it is. Actually, I got it from somebody. It was sponsored to me. I'll go get it right now. So I use Lucas Assembly Lube. This is Comp Cam's valve train spray. But for the most part, like this motor that's been ran, I'll put a little bit of lube on it. I think that stuff's sticky and stays on there. Otherwise, motor oil, stick them in there. Your daughter's seen like my grandkids know more than us. Yeah, yeah. Kids seem to know an awful lot, I'll tell you. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I said in my other video chat is do this. I'd like to be able to take the knowledge that I have, which isn't, you know, rocket science, and give it to my kids. Help them to learn how to build a Cleveland. Give them the ambition and drive to do projects. You know, I try to limit the iPad use. I'll tell you, it's addictive to kids. They'll sit there and watch that for hours. So you have to put a limit on it, you know, and it's like it affects dopamine receptors. It affects their brain. They go through withdrawal. I've seen it. I've tested it. So I know it's true. So we got to kind of limit the media that we present to them. And what I want to do is present the stuff that my dad and mom gave to me, you know, how to put a garden in, how to shoot a gun, how to build a fire, you know, how to trap, all that stuff. Those are lost arts, and they're not going anywhere. That's why I try to give it back to my kids. The same with Cleveland's. No one's racing at Cleveland. They only made this thing from 70 to 74. Who's doing this? Well, I happen to be into it, as a bunch of you guys are. You know, it's something that it's got a legacy that I want to continue with. Just like this pro stock stuff, man. It's coming alive, man. And I get shivers when I think about it. It's just, it's the time factor. So I got to kind of, I don't want to be in a stall mode where, oh yeah, he's going and then all of a sudden he's down. I got a lot of projects going and I don't want to let them sit. So I kind of keep moving on them. Let me read some of these comments. Hold tight here. Pick soon. I also have another package to send your way. It's more NOS. Hey, send it away. You know it'll be going on one of my motors. That's for sure, Daniel Wilson. 20 plus years ago, I saw a pair of tunnel port 351 Cleveland heads used. Old pro stock heads, push rod tube through ports. It was at Paul Payton's chassis shop in Waxahachie, Texas. I drooled. Yes, I've heard of that kind of stuff, man. They would be killer type heads for sure. The one of the issues with the Cleveland on the port is the intake itself, or the push rod bulge, especially on the A3 heads. You got to move that out. You got to move that port over a little to straighten it out to get the best flow. And that's one of the problems with the Cleveland core barrel head. I mean, the thing will flow like gangbusters once you get up to $7,000 and above. But if you're not running it like that, then you want to increase that velocity. And that's why they have the port stuffers. Shorten that, decrease that port volume. You decrease the port volume, you increase the velocity. And that's what you want, the velocity. But you don't want it so fast and, you know, the fuel molecules are smashing into stuff. You want it to be controlled. And I forget the optimal, it's like 383 feet per second, something like that. We can get into that when we talk to Darren Morgan. But yeah, that's cool, Foxfire. You're right, Tim. Kids grow up fast as a quarter mile. I'm telling you, my daughter's going to be 10 soon. It seems like only yesterday that I remember being born. So yeah, time is flying. And I almost sometimes get an anxiety from it because it's like, I'm looking at my life now, I'm 56. My life's already half over. I always say, I got 14 good years in me, and that's it. You know, I want to get this bucket list made and my car's done, and then that's all. So, and that clock's ticking. That's why when I try to motivate people here to get their builds done and get their cars done, because we ain't getting no younger, that's for sure. Jim M. Tim, would you ever try CHI head on one of the pro stock motors? Or are you strictly going nostalgia? You know what? Here, Jim M., here's the deal. With this pro stock motor, I want it to be period correct, but I'll tell you, I'm not running a stud girl in there and guide plates and all that. No way. I want to go with shaft system, shaft rocker, titanium valves. Give it the best you can go. I don't need all that extra weight. I mean, that's all great and fine, and Jimmy Huff will run like that, and that's more nostalgic than I am. I just want more durability, less issues, and I want to try to get the most I can out of this combination because it doesn't have a big bore. It's only a 4-inch bore. So with a 3/400 crank, I think it's 340 something cubic inch. But I would love to put, back to your question, I would love to put on CHI heads or A3 heads on it and test it. That's what I really like to do is dyno test. That's why I bought this dyno mule right here. We're going to test it the way it is with a tunnel ram and 2 4s. Dominators. Then we're going to bring it back, put on high port heads, and test it again, see what it does. We know a baseline. Let's see what kind of power it makes. That's the fun stuff. The motor's already put together, and I know it's seasoned and strong. Bob Hope, I have a 71 Cleveland 4-bolt block with 4-barrel heads I've had since I was a kid. It's been sitting in the corner for years. Want to know something, Bob Hope? I got a 2-bolt main motor, just nothing special. It's been sitting for 34 years over in that corner. It's been wherever I've moved, I've always taken it with me. That block right there, I got from Jim Willett 18 years ago. It's been sitting, and now it's finally lying in wait. Now it's time to come to life. So that's cool. So now that it's sitting over there, now it's time to get it going, pull it down, and let's get moving on it. Would like to build a strong street strip motor. Really? Nice, because it's real easy with a Cleveland, man. The main thing you got to think about a street Cleveland is you got to have that cam in right. You can't be putting a 110 center line in a Cleveland. That thing will be a dog on the street. It needs to be 106, 105, 104, something like that. And then you got to match the gear with it. You can't be running around with a 342. You're going to go nowhere. You need something aggressive, 389, 411, 433, something like that. You got a stick. Now you're really hooking. You're running probably mid 12s, low 12s on the street with the right combo. Heads are closed chamber. Yep, you're right. Andrea, hi, Andrea. I love that smile. I love you. Thank you for joining our live chat. That's my wife tuning in. So, another question, it says here, Bob Hope about Cleveland 4-barrel heads. You know what? They're a great head. You can't beat them. They flow like gangbusters, but you got to have the right combo for them to work on the street. You got to manage the cam, the compression. That's why they have the port stuffers, to decrease that port volume, because you're not going to be running $7+ grand on the street very much. So that's a common thing that people like to talk about. And not everybody's building, 700 horsepower Cleveland. I understand that. But all the information I'm giving you from the basics goes all the way across the board, whether it's a Ford, a Chevy, Mopar, whatever. They all benefit from massaging the oil systems, making sure they got the right bearing clearances, making sure there's any kind of strictures in the intake and exhaust. You can alleviate it with bolt-ons or whatever, or go full bore. You're welcome, Bob Hope. So 17 minutes and 56 seconds. All right, there's the time. There's quite a few people here. I'm trying to see how many. 20 people, looks like, and 6 thumbs up. 20 people and only 6 thumbs up. Uh-oh, got a problem there. So make sure you hit that like button. I want to try to keep this channel going with stuff that's different than you're going to see on other channels, because it's something that you don't see this. At least I haven't done this where I sit here and talk to people right from the get-go, man, because then you know who I am. It's not us presenting cam timing or this or that. It's just me hanging out in my garage, trying to keep the projects going. Thanks, Roberts G-Body Racing. I'm trying to think G-Body. G-Body is what, the Malibu, I think. Like the 80s Malibu, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Answer. It's too hard for me to go typing stuff. We'll have to pass on that aspect. Let me see what else because I wrote down a few notes. Oh, here's something I wanted to show you. So we all got our garages, we all have our garage where we like to hang out, display what junk we have, work on our stuff. And I don't know, it's like a display case sometimes, you like to put the stuff up that you have. And I like to do that, but I also like to put it to use too. And people have been asking me about the Cougar. Yes, it's still at my buddy's shop, getting the custom headers done, the motor plates all done, and hopefully the headers are done if you're watching this, JP, in the next 2 weeks. I figure that head's going to be there for about 2 weeks to get looked over. Now, I also just got another head. We should open up here right now, back from Scott Miller from Illuminu. And that's the other secret A3 head. So maybe I will. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Roberts. G-Body Racing. Yeah, the 80s Malibu. My buddy had one, Henry Bush. If you're ever watching this, Henry Bush. It was like an 80, I want to say it was 83, 305 four-barrel. Man, when you kick that thing in, that thing would, when those secondaries came in, that would set you back. It was fast for, we were in, what, 16 or 17. So, YouTube channel. Okay, we'll have to check it out, man. If I didn't subscribe, I will. I always like seeing that stuff. It's good to network. Let's open up this cylinder head and see what it looks like. I just got it in the mail. Oh yeah, well, here's the point I was saying about decorating your garage and whatever. But I found some pictures of my car because it's still getting the chassis work done. But I always like this picture. This is from 10/17 of 1998. I don't know how good you can see that, but I always love that picture. Hopefully there's not a lot of glare. Now that's the same paint job the car has now. It's over 40 years paint job. It's crazy. Now here's when it was running 1129. So that's my first stroker motor. That's a 377 Cleveland in that thing. It was running 1203. I got the motor from Ford Performance Solutions. I wanted to go faster. They sent me a different roller cam. I had a solid lifter cam. They sent me a roller cam. I put it in, took it off the trailer, 1125 right off the trailer. I was like, yeah, that's what I want. It's been going ever since then. So let's see who's here. John Elliott, finally. Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I might have to get a channel going. Laugh out loud. I might bore you to death with my job. You know what? I don't get bored with anybody's job because you know what? You're working, and that's what matters. You put your effort into your society or your work so you can enjoy the things you want to do. Hard work, man. That's what you need to do. So I don't care what you do for work. I've done it all, man. I've logged. I did logging with my cousin, some commercial fishing. I worked in an operating room and a scrub tech. I worked in a garage as a mechanic for years. I worked in a transmission shop. Harvested tissue from dead bodies for a while, make extra cash. So I've done a lot of stuff. So I don't get bored with anybody's work. 383, 669, 100 mile an hour. Hey, that's pretty nice. Okay. 383 Chevy. I'm into that. I'll tell you, when you see that number, it tells me a little about the car, but it's leaving a lot on the table. Not that we're going to get onto a big discussion on this, but I'll tell you, I'm going to start talking about Caltrax, and not right this second, but I'm going to do a live chat on that because there's a lot of people that run that suspension. You know, I've been running Caltrax since, well, around that video, around those 1129 videos. That's when I first got it, met John Calvert. That's when we decided to make, well, he decided and got a hold of me to make the monoleaf spring for the Cougar and Mustangs, the two-piece monoleaf. We used my Cougar to do it, and that was back in, Jesus, that was like 97, 96 or 7, somewhere right around there. He sent me parts from California. I bolted on. Yeah, John, this looks good, but you got to change this. Sent it back. He sent me the parts back. It was good to go. Ever since then, for 20-something years, I ran that suspension. And I know a lot of little tricks on Caltrax that help people. Let's see what we have going on here. Ford Racing, how do you feel about the SCAT 408 stroker kits? Is it worth getting one? Looking for a street motor, 4-barrel, blah, 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 blah. Look at this. All right, here's a deal for stroker kits. It's real simple, man. I ain't into no cast parts. You want cast stuff, stick with stock stuff. If you want to go with something good forged, put your money into a good rotating assembly. They're cheap nowadays, man. When I started getting into strokers, I had to get stuff custom made, blah, blah, blah. We're talking big money back then. And parts didn't match right, and the balances were an issue. Listen, here's how it works. It's real simple. If you want the best stroker kit for a Cleveland, you want to get it from Molnar. Now, whether you get it from Tim Meyer, I don't know who else sells it, but I know Tom Molnar and Tim Meyer work together, and they have a great kit for a stroker for a Cleveland. You probably get whatever you want. Popular ones are 383, 393, and a 408. You know, I'll tell you, there's no substitute for cubic inches. I've ran every stroker combination there is. My best motor was a 385, man. That thing was 5 years of no trouble. So the key with Molnar is the fact that you're getting the correct Ford offset. Now, I'm only going by what they tell me. I haven't even dynoed the motor yet to see, but I put those rods in there. And that Tom Molnar told me that you can save, or excuse me, you can gain up to 18. He's seen 30 horsepower in a motor just changing the rods. You got to email them, talk to them. I'm just telling you what he told me. So I believe that stuff with frictional loss. You got to think about that rod going up and down and stopping almost at one direction and going back the other way. I mean, the forces are tremendous. So spend good money Ford Racing on a good kit. 65, 100 RPM, you can use stock stuff if you really want to. I've ran stock stuff. I'll tell you, my 377, did that have stock rods? No, it didn't. But I've ran stock rods to $7,000, no issues at all. 72, polished the beams, good rod bolts, good to go. It's the heavy pistons that you got. You know, the stuff's heavy. Valve train and the big TRW pistons for Cleveland. Perry Ford, hi Tim, nice interview with Rusty. Thanks. We were talking today, and I'd try to figure out how to put him on this, but I just don't know how to do it. So I'm gonna have to do a little research on that. But he might be watching now. And if not, I'll text him. I just got to remember, I got to be done with this pretty darn soon. Let's see. I'll text him right now on live. We'll see how it happens. This is from Daniel Wilson. You mentioned Greg Brown yesterday. Are you contemplating a build to use his hammerhead? Great potential with Casper? No. Nope. I'm a Cleveland purist, Daniel. I love that kind of stuff, and I'm impressed by it, but I'm just old school, man. The most aluminum head I really like is A3. I got some other ones. We're going to test them, but and I got a set of Blue Thunder, so we'll test them. But I just like the old stuff. I don't know. And I haven't ran iron heads in so long, and I've never ran a high port. That's my whole goal with this whole channel is I've never ran a high port cylinder head. I've never ran a tunnel ram in 2.4s. I've seen it in magazines since I was 10, 1975. So I'm not slowing down. I want to see those things breathing fire. I want to see that. It's just the excitement. And you're going to watch it too. You stick on this channel, man, you're going to be seeing a lot here. It's not just going to be flapping jaws. You know, we got all kinds of things coming in. And that's what I want to do is bring them on for these live interviews because that's where the interaction comes from. That's where you get to see what people are thinking and can answer their questions like that. No offense to those heads because Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage is running them and he's going to put them on a 429. That thing's going to be coughing up 850, man, without even thinking about it. It should. I don't know all the specs of his cam and all that, but well, we're going to do a live chat. We'll find out. But a very impressive head, to say the least. Here's Clay Henderson. We have a 393 with A3s and a tube chassis car that runs 570s, 120 in the eighth. Nice. Very cool. Tube chassis. So that's crazy fast, man, and light. So it doesn't put a lot of strain on the parts. I'll tell you, it must be a real ride. It has to be in the 2,500 pound range or something like that. And I think about that. My 409 Cleveland, if that's running 960s and 3,275 pounds, imagine putting that in a 2,500 pound car. You know, it's that weight that gets us. So Robert G. Body, still have stock frame 2940 with me in the car. Wow, that's pretty light. 280 pounds. You ain't no tiny guy. That's a light car though. So that's nice. That's lighter than my Cougar. I'm with you, Tim. Old school Cleveland all the way. Yeah, I just, you know, like I said, I don't have a lot of time left, and I just want to live these dreams I read about in Super Ford magazine when I was a kid, digging through that, you know, looking at, I'd see ads for Bob Glidden and all these rare Ford parts back then, and I didn't have any money back then to buy anything, so I always wanted that stuff. John Elliott, I work as a mechanic in Mars, PA. Molnar, yep, Molnar for rotating assembly forged, and you say, yep, you have to get me a number and address. Look it up online. If you're going to buy the parts, listen, if you're going to buy the parts, the rotating assembly, get it from Tim Meyer. It's a lot easier. He's already balanced them. They're already set in neutral balance. You're not getting scat that's external balance stuff, and then you got to mess around with it. Be smart. Buy that kit. I think the Cleveland kit, the bottom line Cleveland kit might be $2,300 or something. And that's with a CP piston. Just think about that. You buy that setup, a stroker. Don't even port the heads. Just throw the dang thing on there. You're going to be making what? 600 horse with the right cam? The issue is you got to remember you're gonna need adjustable valve train if you want to be running good stuff, meaning get the max out of your power. You're not going anywhere with stock valve train out of Cleveland, just so you know that. That hydraulic roller, that hydraulic cam business, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah, Bob Hope, I still have all my Super Ford magazines, almost every one they printed. Well, listen, Bob Hope, if you got any stuff on the A3 stuff, print it out and send it to me. I'd love to have that. I love to keep records of that. I have, let's see, Hot Rod Magazine, Carcraft Magazine, Super Ford Magazine. I used to get some custom stuff. I had years of them from like in the later 70s, up until probably 2004, 2005. That's when I got into racing heavy, and I just dropped out of all media. Stopped watching TV, I really stopped buying magazines because the internet, there was so much going on with the forums and talking, and I'm going to see what this button, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know what that is. Forget that button. So yeah, 31 minutes we've been talking. Let's see what else is here. You got it. How do I get it to you? Send it to my email address. My email address for YouTube is on this thing. If you go into the About section, at the top of your screen, when you go to my channel, there's different things about. If you read about me, it'll kind of tell you what I'm thinking about this channel, what I want to do. You go through community, you can see different pictures that I post to keep us all updated. If you go to other sections, it has the YouTube channel address that you can click on as a hyperlink. So it's on there, but it's thpa351@gmail.com. I'm definitely considering 3 Molnar stroker from Iron Par. Yeah, for sure. You go with a 393, you'll be real happy. They always say, oh, the 408 is too much side loading and the rod to stroke ratio is wrong and blah, blah, blah. Who cares about that stuff, man? I want to build a motor that's going to have fun with. I'm not going to be riding it, California for 20 years and then I'm going to rebuild it. I don't care about that little bit of wear or that stress. I never noticed it when I raced it or drove it on the street. So that's why I say I don't care about that. But pick what you want. I can't tell you which is the best combination to get. You got to, this is what I tell people, it's simple. You got your car or whatever you plan on racing, and then you pick an engine, transmission, and a drivetrain, and then you design those components to what your goal is. Oh, I want to have a car that goes, 11 O's. Well, you got to first thing you got to do is look at the weight of the car. That'll give you an idea how much horsepower you're going to need to achieve that goal. Come on, you think about big old Torino, 3,600 pounds. You ain't going to run 11 O's with a 351 30 over, unless you got some spray on there, or you got some other tricks going on. So I should do a video just on how I plan out things, because sometimes people are not sure. There's so many venues to take, and what do I pick first? So I always write stuff down on paper and write it out as a blueprint, a plan. I write stuff on these yellow notebooks. I probably have 15 of them with all different sections, every measurement, weight of every part I've ever taken off. So that's how I build a motor. I set a goal, and then I try to move towards that goal. The 409 was a 950 goal. Excuse me. I ran a 966. I want a 950 with some headwork, and that's what I attempted to do, and hopefully I get there soon. Okay, Clay Henderson. It's a Power Glide with 393, but it's running 6 tons in the same car with a crank 20 over. Closed chamber heads, no port work, clutchless 5G. Okay. That's cool, man. I'm really not into, wait a minute. Okay, I got what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. I never was into Power Glides. They're good for a car that's way violent and you can't control it off the line. But you can control any car with suspension. You know, I've learned that, I'll tell you, just from dealing with the wheel stance with my Cougar. I've learned how to control it. I've learned how to make wheelies any height I want. I'm going to do another video on that. We won't get into that right now. Motown XJ Dad. Bob Hope, the 4V quench chambers are great, especially for a natural. Yep. My dad's Cleveland motor with the same heads went 1050s and 80s. Full. Yep. Okay. There you go. And that's the thing. If he had a stroker, no doubt about that. Same with the Cleveland. You can get it in there. I'll tell you, my car with iron heads. It was iron heads, 377 iron 4Vs, and it ran 1095 at 3,500 pounds, 35 something. So that thing was cooking to me back then with the iron-headed Cleveland. And then that's when I said, you know what, I switched. I think I didn't have a problem. I sold those heads to a guy in Florida. But that's when I said I wanted these A3 heads. You always hear me talk about them. You know, I've read about them in books. I had a bunch of different heads. I said, you know what, I want to do this. And that's when I decided, that's when I had to cut the shock towers out of my car, because the A3 head is the same as aluminum Cleveland high port head, pretty much the same, with port stuffers in the intake ports. So the ports are raised and the exhaust ports are raised up just like the high ports. So you have to cut the shock towers to put them in a 60s Mustang, 69, 68. Yeah, Perry Ford, you're right. That was pretty darn cool. Popular hot rodding, that was another good one. And those cars, the Carcraft, Popular Hot Rodding, they all had a lot of stuff going on in the 70s. They had a lot of drag racing stuff. All Stars, I think it was Carcraft Drag Racing All Stars. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out, man. That's the microphone. You guys can hear me, so that's all right. Camera. Now we got 22 thumbs up and 23 people. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, guys. Now here's another topic. I'll put it up. Jesus, you're right, Perry Ford. Super Stock and Drag Racing Illustrated. Can't beat it, man. You're right. Those were the magazines, and that's before the internet. Once the internet came, I mean, the information is so easy to obtain, and even the old articles. It's just, I'm surprised that Hot Rod's still going, Carcraft or whatever. Their subscriptions now are like, you know, $2 for a year. But here's a topic for the 24 people with 24 thumbs up. I gotta give it to you. Thank you. Here's what I want to do. Now, I've been working on this YouTube stuff when I get time, and this is time consuming. To be a successful YouTuber, it takes a lot of time to figure this format out, to figure out how to move this to that. And one of the things I want to do is the membership groups. So they have all these things where you can put in different membership levels. You know, when I was thinking about doing, well, the 600 horsepower level, 7 and 800 horsepower levels, and then have different perks for all those. I'm trying to figure that all out now. I already mentioned before on my first live broadcast that I finally got somebody that I know that can do the shirts. I got to get a design to them, so we're going to do that. And I don't know if people would be into doing this membership thing where you get, you know, I'd share like private videos that no one else would see on here. I'd do stuff different that show you things that we don't talk about on the regular YouTube. I'd give you information and contacts to people that I have, personal emails, maybe even phone numbers, kind of keep the network going. You know, we'd have our own private chats where we sit and talk about whatever, just private stuff about any questions you have on builds that I can maybe answer for you. Medicine, I don't know. But there's, you know, different perks. You get emojis, you get banners. There's different super chats, and I thought I had this super chat thing working. I don't know if it does. I don't know much about it, but kind of get more involved with this, because I think this is what people really are into, man, is finding out who that person is, kind of knowing, hey, that guy knows what he's talking about, or, you know, at least he likes to talk a lot. But my kids want to help me tear down that motor. I want them to tear that down to learn how to bring that down so they can build that motor. And like I said, for the 100th time, about this darn tunnel ram video. I'll do that tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but too much stuff going on. And yep, 28 people and 26 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Do I remember Dean Thompson? TAD 350 back in the early. Dean Thompson. I kind of know that name, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Because I don't know unless you said something that clicks. Then I'm like, oh, yeah, I know who that person is. It says, our shock towers were not cut. I was a teenager, so my hands got down there. My job was to get the JR headers bolted on, get the plugs in, and the wires out of my way. My dad's hands were too big. Okay. Yeah, Daniel Wilson. I've seen that picture before. Send it along. I've seen that picture. Cool. Yeah, I know. 27 now. Now there's 25 now. So we've gotten a couple people have left. And I used to bother me. Oh my God, I'm losing subscribers. I don't do that anymore. I'll tell you, it was like this. I said to my family, I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to get 1,000 subscribers, just to have that many, and that'll be my goal. And it started to happen, and I got there, and then next thing I know, I said 5,000, and then I said I'm just gonna do 7,000, no more after that. After 7,000, I'm done. So now I said after 10, I won't do any more. But I don't know if people will be interested in this enough for me to keep going. I don't know. We just gotta. I really got to get something going. Just sitting here talking doesn't pan out. And I'm kind of like to that point where I have nothing I can do yet. I'm kind of waiting for things, so I kind of leave it at that yet. But I want to keep this channel growing, so I'm going to get into some, like I said, block prep for that block over there. We're going to start working on the oil galleys. My buddy that sponsors me there, Greg Cuozo, with a killer carbide burrs. I'm going to get some cast iron from him. He's sending me a set now for that we had made up. I'm going to send them to Darren Morgan and Preston at BES. If you're tuning in, Tony Bischoff, I'm coming to see you, and Darren. So that'll be pretty cool, and we'll see how they deal with those bits. But let me catch up with this reading. It says, he said, John Elliott says, I would join, but I might be a year before I have a motor ready. I'll be in the 600 junior class. Dude, it ain't even about that. Who cares if you have a motor or you don't? It's about socializing. It's about learning about Cleveland. It's about networking. It's about learning about engines, kind of putting you on a different forefront, not just about Cleveland's. That's why I called it. I changed it into the garage because lots of things happen in the garage. I mean, you're not just working on Cleveland and building engines. I mean, you're doing all kinds of things. I mean, me and my wife put together a gazebo by ourselves, said you needed 4 people. We did it with 2. She had this real long pole that she bought. The thing worked great. We put a pool together. I'll never do that again, but I made videos of that stuff. And I did a lot of stuff in the garage to make a thing to level the ground. So I'd like to share my ideas and the things the way I think, and have a vice versa. So it doesn't matter how much horsepower you make, how fast you go, or what car you got. It means nothing. All I care about is that you're interested in keeping this kind of drag racing alive, keeping pro stock alive, the Cleveland alive, and you alive, keeping you safe, learning how to do things the right way. Not that I'm an expert, but been doing it for 40 years, so I still have all my fingers. When I say stuff like that, I'm going to knock on some damn wood right there. So let's see. So it don't matter about that. And I don't know how to price this stuff. You can make it from $5.99 to $9.99 to $29.99, $19.99. I don't know. I don't know what it's worth. I look at it as the time, though. Time is money, and your time is worth money, and mine's worth money. We want to work together. We want to take advantage of your time and make it the most efficient, so you get what you get out of your time, because you only got so much. Perry Ford, he set low ET at Orange County International Raceway at the World Finals with his top 350 in Cleveland. Okay, got it. Yeah, you're right, Roberts, G-Body Racing. It takes time to build a channel, that's for sure. I don't know. I'll have to go. I'll check your channel out. Well, how many subscribers do you have? What kind of topics do you do? Later, we had a 427 side oiler and a 69 Mustang. Those shock towers were cut, which was awesome with the FE motors. Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. I'll tell you a funny story. I have a buddy, and I talked about him yesterday, Larry the Shoeberry. We just have a lot of buddies that we all raced with. We're all Ford guys from Columbus, Ohio area. Brian Hayes, Eric Johnson, K. Meyer. I mean, the list goes on. I'm sorry if I missed. I don't want to miss you. Guys from New York, Robbie Town, Jeff Dysinger. So many people to acknowledge and recognize, because everyone builds this channel, and that's what makes it cool. So anyway, so I'll tell you a story, how I got the 40 Ford coupe. So my buddy Shu calls me up and he says, hey, listen, I know you always wanted this coupe, and I know a guy that's got one in his garage. He was an old body man. He died in Millersport, Ohio. And I said, okay. I said, yeah, I'd like to check it out. So he says, yeah, let's go. So the story is, we get over there, and apparently they had a couple 426 Hemis. They're under the workbench or apart or whatever, and the lady sold them for like $600 a piece. So when we got there, she already got wise and knew that, hey, this stuff's not dirt cheap. So we go there. It was like 5 miles from the National Trail drag strip. We go there. It's an old gas station, like from the 50s. It was converted into a body shop. It was a trip, man. I walked in the door, and sitting in the front of the door in a grocery cart is a 427 Cammer with a Dyno Don experimental tunnel ram with 2 4s, 2 Dominators. I mean, the thing was wicked, to the oil pan, carbs to oil pan, wires, everything. And I wanted that so bad, but I said, well, it's a lot of money. Let's see what else they got. So there was a 40 Ford coupe with a brand new flathead and all these parts. There's a 427 side oiler sitting on the ground on a short block from Ford on the Ford crate. My buddy bought it for $800 or $600, and I got the coupe for like $1,800. And she wanted 10 grand for the Camry. I should have bought it. I could have took a loan out, but I should have bought it. But I called my buddy, and Paul, if you're watching this, from Lancaster, Ohio, and he ended up grabbing it for 10 grand. He's got it sitting in his basement or his loft. It's all apart. He's going to rebuild it, but now it sits there. So he's got a bunch of 40 Ford coupe, some parts. So we got to get you going, Paul. Still got my book that I want back, the Gasser book from like 16 or 17 years ago now. So anyway, so that's the story. That's my most closest thing with fame in regards to rare parts. But I could have bought that motor for 10 grand and probably sold it for probably 40 grand all day long. Tim, you on Facebook? I am on Facebook. I'll tell you about Facebook. I get these friend requests. I don't know if you guys do. I'm just not a big Facebooker. I put my YouTube stuff on there, but I don't put down like what I had for dinner and all that. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't post any of that stuff. And so I get these friend requests. And I don't just click on everybody. I kind of look through them when I get time and click on the people that are into this stuff, not the scam stuff. My buddy Chad has one of Lee Hunter's Pro Stock Mercury Zephyr and going to restore. Oh, that would be killer. If you remember that Ford book by Pat Ganal, actually, I probably have it right here. So that's a good thing about being live. You can talk about anything. But these 2 books here, buy this book, man. It's got so much history. And Lee Hunter's Mustang's in there, and the build on the Cleveland, Pro Stock with the specs. This one here, I mean, I got this for my first build, which my first build was like 1980, like 80, I want to say 83, somewhere around in high school. So let me set those down. So those are good books to obtain. But yeah, that'd be a cool deal. Now my buddy, or at least I shouldn't say buddy, but a subscriber, and I've emailed him a couple times, Brad Witt. Now he has this Fairmont that I should be getting, and I might be getting it. I'm going to talk to my buddy JP about taking a road trip to Illinois, man, and putting it on a trailer and bringing it back. We could top that. I would like to make that into the 78 car. The undefeated car with the red stripes. Yeah. Read my text. Oops, sorry, hon. Yep, I'll get the kids. So I only have a few more minutes to talk, and then we'll have to end it. I'll probably do this again in a little while, but let's see. John, I watch for the knowledge and history aspect. I also try to learn from you and your guesses. Yeah, I mean, it's a learning thing, man. That's exactly what it is. You know, I'm just trying to see pin user and timeline. Oh, I don't know. Let's see if I pin this. What does that mean? I don't see the message, so I don't know. I'll have to do some reading on that. So Robert's G-Body Racing. Racing, most views, I think, is 35 hour in video. Only about 10 video. Bracket racing and how I made my car faster over 35 years. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's how I started this channel, man. It's just me working in the garage, doing stuff I usually do. What really got me into it was I wanted to learn about the suspension. And the best way to learn about your suspension is to put cams underneath the car and watch slow motion runs. And I have some on my YouTube channel. I don't think people watch them enough, not just my car, but to understand what you're seeing, because that's what makes your car fast. Not only the engine, it's that 60-foot, man. You chip that down, and you're going to have some hooking times. But yeah, I agree with you. I kind of live back in the mid '70s when it comes to Ford racing. I love those books, Greg Foreman and their Don Gumby and others. Yeah, Don Cumby. I remember his car from, it was either Hot Rod or Super Ford. It was a Trino with a big block, 460 in or something. Ran like 10, geez, I want to say it was like 10 something. 1060s or something like that. It was a big deal back then. I was like, wow, couldn't believe it. Ford Performance Bible, yep. They are good reading, Daniel Wilson. Motown, yeah, the 125th scale, yep. And I'll tell you, I can't wait to get that video up with all the cars I have organized and the pictures of going back to Glidden's garage. It's going to be like stepping back in time. I kind of would like to. Sorry, guys, I got 10 minutes. 10 minutes to be done. Now, I don't know about a tribute car. I don't know. What else would it be? If you painted the colors of his car, it's a tribute car to me. So I don't know. That's a tough question. But I will tell you who I might be getting to do the body work if you're on here, Ronnie Kirkpatrick. Or I could. No, I can't do it myself. But yeah, I want to learn that stuff. I want to do all the. Yeah, I remember Sudden Death, Gap and Roush car. That was a bad machine, man. Back in the day, that thing was running 980s on the streets of Detroit. So yeah, I remember that build in the magazines. I remember seeing it, and it's come up recently on the net. It's like dead air now. Let's see how many people are watching. Hey, we got 28 people and 31 thumbs up. We're ahead of the game. That's the way I got to look at it. So make sure I didn't get a message from Glidden. Nope, so we're good. So that's our plan. This live chat's pretty good. The problem is I can't interact with you enough. I can't highlight your messages. I can't tell you anything in regards to features. Pop-out chart, not sure. So, and I don't want to mess around with anything at this point because it's working well. But I kind of do like the other view better, a little more easier to manipulate. But here's something that a good topic we all would like to talk about: parts, Ford parts. You know, I got into collecting parts. I don't know. You guys must be the same way. Probably when I was in the probably 12 years old range. You know, 10 is when I started getting into racing and understanding about them, but never getting to know when I was going to see it because it was on ABC Wild World Sports. It was only on Saturdays. It was hardly ever on. And thanks, Rusty Allen. Appreciate it. The interviews will get better, believe me. But so I never got to watch it a lot. And there's a couple dudes down the street, and this is really what turned me on. Was a guy named Hot Rod Todd. Now he had a Super B, so it was a 70 Super B, and it was a Hemi. And I remember it had a 4-speed. And I remember either the emblem fell off the back, the little Super B, or I pulled it off. I don't remember. And if you're watching this, Hot Rod Todd, I didn't mean to, but I still have that emblem, I think. But that car was there. My next door neighbor had a Mustang. It was probably a 68 notchback. Wasn't that nasty. It had dual exhaust and Kragers, but to me that was a hot rod. And I don't even remember if it was a 4-barrel. But that Hemi, I'll never forget hearing that thing start up. I could hear it from my house. He was only a few doors down. If the Lupas are watching this, Kevin or Steve, then you'll remember that car too. That blue car, man. That was a bad car. I think it was blue with a white top. Let's see. So here's the deal. Daniel Wilson's asking about push rods. Now listen, the guys that sponsor me are Smith Brothers Push Rods. Call them up. I talked to a guy named Jeff is his name. I can't remember his last name right now. But I got push rods from them. You call them up, tell them you saw here on the channel. They'll hook you up. Good guys to work with, man. That's for sure. So call them up. Smith Brothers Push Rods. They sponsor me. Now here's another thing, like I said about that membership. Like I have a lot of sponsors. There's probably at least 20 on the back of the credits. I don't know what to do. I just keep adding them on. I'd like to organize it somewhat better. A slide or something. I don't know. And it's hard to organize when you do end cards. These are the things that come up to show you the next video you might be interested in. I try to organize that so you can see the video. But the deal with those are, now I lost my train of thought. Whatever, here it is. Smith Brothers. Oh yeah, so they do sponsor me. And I do have a lot of sponsors, like Orm Brothers in California. You call up Johnny Orm and tell him you watch me on DragBoss, he'll give you a discount. I think it's 10%. I mean, that's worth something, you know, in these times. And they have good quality products. That's the thing. I don't want to buy, I stay away from Chinese fittings. Anything AN, stay away. Almost had a fire with that stuff. I got a video on here. It could save your life. Why? With fuel leaking, don't buy that junk. Now listen, it's 4:35. We're cutting down to the countdown. 5 minutes. I have Smith Brothers in my Cross Ram FE. Okay. So it's got a Cross Ram 2 4s on it. That's cool, man. What's that car in, Perry Ford? Let us know. Great job with Rusty yesterday. Got to get my ribs on the grill. Peace, everybody. Peace, Motown. That's what we're having, ribs. I got some ribs. We're going to have those too. So 4:36, 4 minutes. I don't know about 10% discount on Smith Brothers. That's Orm Brothers. So let me see if I can type this on here. Hang on, guys. Sorry. See, now I'd like to do that, but it's too hard for me to go type in that kind of thing. Yeah, it's been fun. G-Body, glad you're here. I appreciate it. Okay, 57 Ford Fairlane. Yeah, I'm into those. Yep. That's my favorite year. Well, I shouldn't say that. I like the 66 and 7 too. 66, I think, is my favorite year. So 30 people are here. I mean, I don't know if I do this again tomorrow night or I'll do it again later tonight if people are going to be on here. If we're into this kind of thing. But it's great to be here and to be able to share time with you. So I got to figure out how to end this cast, which looks like it just says end stream and it's done. And then it gets posted. So that'll be pretty cool. You guys can stay posted on this, share it with your friends. I should put this on Facebook. I just don't know how to tag it to get it over there, but I could put a link there and see what people think. But appreciate everybody tuning in to DragBoss Garage and try to keep you abreast of the situation. Hey, Gregorius, I'm just getting ready to finish, man. I wanted to give you a shout out. He's a pretty loyal subscriber and always asks pertinent questions, has a lot of good information to say. So yeah, I appreciate it. Have them hit the bell. Subscribe, I guess. Yeah. You know, I got to the point where ain't many diehard Cleveland guys. Yeah, I hear you, Barbar. There ain't a lot of diehard Cleveland guys out there. There ain't a lot of diehard anybody drag racing guys out there like there used to be. It's slowly dying. I think because the generations now are not into it. Like I've said before, they just don't have that ambition and drive to want to work on 50-year-old stuff, you know, or any old racing stuff for that matter. But I could be wrong. We'll see how it goes. Here's the deal, Gregorius. I got to go because I got to pick up my kids. But I might do this later tonight. I'm not sure how you got. Thanks, G-Body Racing. Ring the bell, guys. I guess that's what I'll put down because I don't know where the heck the bell is anyways. So I'll tell you, my daughter can text this. Thank you, Gregorius. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gregorius Anomalous. I'll be back, that's for sure. Barbara, I got a 32 Ford V8 tattoo on my back. I love the 32 Ford. Definitely. Ding, ding. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's 4:40 p.m., so that means it's time for me to roll. I wish you were on here earlier, Gregorius. And I'm not sure if people get contact in your subscriptions that say, hey, you know, DragBoss is going to do a live video in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I didn't schedule it. I just kind of went on there. So if there's any comments that you can leave me about stuff to talk about next and questions you may have, or tell me how to do this a little bit better, let me know. You know, I ain't perfect, so I got to roll. We're going to end the broadcast right now. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay tuned. I'll be back because I hear Cleveland's make power. And it's still going. So here it goes. All right. Okay, not yet. I didn't end it yet because I see all these messages. This is Perry Ford. Yep, take care, everybody. Consider doing a membership. I had talked about that probably about 10 minutes before. If the bell tells you when you're on. Okay. Okay. So listen, I am going this time because I got to get my kids. So thanks, guys, for being here. You know what I always say? I hear Cleveland's make power. Let's find out.